The market pushes higher into resistance. Can we see a pullback or do the bulls march on? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay, guys, so in yesterday's video, we did a big picture overview. So if you want to understand the big picture, check that out. We did not do any kind of drilled down analysis because nothing really changed from Friday as the market just grinded sideways. Now on Monday, the market did push higher up into our resistance zones. And now the question is, can the bears pull back? I'll get into that in just 1 second. But first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP500 and the NASDAQ. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, we did move up into a key resistance area. Can the bears fight back? Let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 1 hour futures chart for the S&P 500. And I've been talking about this 4,800 to 4,810 area for a few days now, ever since the Fed last week. I said they can push it up as high as this 1,382, but above that, and it starts to look like a much more direct bullish count where we're going to go to all-time highs without any significant pullback. I've gone through the market. I did that yesterday when I was doing some training videos as well as my update video. There has never been a time in the market where we've moved 700 points without a single 236 retrace, which is crazy. It's an anomaly. It's something that happens that you can't plan for or expect because it's a one-time event so far in the market. And so you do the best you can, and it makes the fibs very challenging because we don't have any kind of real retraces to build our structures off of, which makes the structure very thin, which means when we do top, and this is done, I could envision a very sharp retrace of this move. But we do have 3 counts we've been tracking, and none of them changed as of yet, but we did get closer to the resistance and breaking points. So our primary path is still that circle A is trying to top here in this 4,800 region. Remember, I talked about the fact that an A wave is usually an ABC. We had a very small B wave in this case. But the overall A wave we had topping at around 4,800. We were looking for the A of A to top a few hundred points ago. Obviously, that didn't happen. We didn't get a significant B wave pullback. And so all of A would be up here around 4,800. And then we'd look for a much bigger pullback. For us to be confident that we're getting the B wave pullback, so you got circle A, circle B to the downside, and then circle C up here to 49.50. To be confident we're in the B wave to the downside, we'd be looking at a break of 46.31. So that would be our first indication that we are in potentially a bigger pullback, and a break of 45.88 would be a much better indication that we are headed down towards the 4,400 to as low as 43.50 area off of this high. I would anticipate a fairly deep B wave given how high this A wave has come. But the 43.50 to 4,400 area is where I would look for this to bottom. And then we'd look for the C wave to come up after that toward the 49.50 area to give us those all-time highs. Now our alternate count, our first alternate, would be the bullish count to the upside that is more direct without a pullback. So in that case, the move up here would have been wave 1 of 3 and wave 2 of 3 coming from off the screen down there. This move up hit the 1, 2, 3, 6 and then push through that. So the 1,382 becomes the next target. And this would be 3 of 3, this Roman numeral 3 right here. And so in this case, we would only expect a smaller pullback towards around 4,700 to 4,650, which coincides with this support area down here and this support area in here, which makes sense from a bullish standpoint if that's what we're going to do. They built support there. So if they come down 4,650 to 4,700 in wave 4 of 3, then we look for a wave 5 back up towards 48.81 to 5,000 or 4,900. And then we'd get one more pullback in wave 4 and one more push back up toward the 49.25 to 5,000. 49.25 to 5,000 area to complete the move up off of the lows to give us the 5th wave we've been looking for since January of 21. So that would be the most bullish count and an alternate as of now. I just think they need a pullback. Everything is so stretched and so thin right now. A pullback, a bigger pullback makes more sense to me, so I go with what's more probable. But as long as they hold above 46.50 and really 46.31, if they hold above 46.31 and push up back through this high, then that would be the path for this more bullish count. Additionally, if they continue to extend this wave 3 of 3 past 48.12, then it becomes much less likely we're in this circle A wave It's not impossible. It can extend high and we can get a bigger ABC. It just pushes our target pretty high up, and it's a little higher than you would anticipate for this diagonal. So for the A wave, the 4812 areas where we're really looking to hold. I mean, they can go above it a few points. We're looking for kind of a blow through that area and continue for this to be not the A wave and an extension in this wave 3 of 3 here. So that key area, 4812, would be your resistance. For the B wave, the prior highs are your resistance. If they poke above those, it doesn't mean it's not a B wave, but it's not a B wave in the sense that we were looking for. And it's much more likely the diagonal we're talking about playing out. For the B wave, though, we would want to see a 5-wave move down off of any high. So instead of a corrective move down that holds support, we'd be looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get started, and then an overall bigger 5 waves down off of that high to tell us we're starting the C wave down in a possible flat, where the B wave comes up to double top and C comes down to about where A bottomed in the 3,500 range. I think it would push through a little bit towards 33,000. But I think this B wave is much less likely for reasons that I outlined in yesterday's big picture video. We're up near the highs. We're past the 764. Overall, it doesn't make a lot of sense at this time, but it's not impossible, so we keep it on the chart so we have it in our mind. In case we do see a 5-wave pullback, we know where we're at. So those are the 3 paths. I still think the primary is a bigger pullback. I think this A wave needs to top. We saw a little bit of selling at the bell, but until they follow through and break through this low here at about 46,745, 47.45. If they break through that, then we have a pretty good idea. We're at least coming down to test 4,700 to 46.50 and see what we get from there. So these are the 3 paths. One of them is much more bullish, and then 2 of them would come deeper, or the B wave would go much deeper, but the bigger B wave into C would go much deeper, and the circle B wave would be a pullback towards 4,400 to 43.50. Over on the NASDAQ, okay, on the NASDAQ, we do have a little bit more structure here. Not great, but they did give us a little bit better of a pullback here, and a pullback here for 4 and 5 that we talked about last week. And now they're up near the target area around 17,000. They got to 16,970 today before starting to sell off of that area. We told you that 17,000 was the next target for them to hit, and if they hit that and turn down, we could see a pullback. And if that's the case, we would be looking for an ABC move that would come down into the 15,600 to 15,400 area, just depending on how deep they want to take this wave to. And given that wave 1 was a pretty extended wave, I would look for closer to the 15,400 to 15,200 area. Both are very valid targets down to the bottom side here. And we'd be looking for that 3-wave pullback and a deeper wave 2. Now, if they are going to extend and they break out over 17,341, then it becomes much more likely that we're already in wave 3, and we are looking at moving directly higher to all-time highs on the NASDAQ as well. So we're kind of in that zone of resistance for both the ES and the NASDAQ. We've seen them chop in this area for a few days now. And the question is, are the bears going to be able to hold to give us a reasonable pullback, which we have not seen since the lows, or do the bulls continue their march higher? So back through 17,341 on the NASDAQ points us more directly higher, and the next target would then be the 18,200 area to the upside. So NASDAQ could be in a very bullish structure should it break out from here again and push. But overall, we would be looking for at least a minor pullback in both charts. Guys, if you love the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link. It'll take you right over to the website. Once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible monthly plans that both come with a 7-day free trial. Because I want you to get in there. I want you to make sure you love it. Become a part of the trading community, and make sure it's for you before you ever spend a penny. You can cancel at any time. We also have our Elliott Wave for Beginners online course. This course is helping real traders make real money and finally understand the market in a way that makes sense. The market is irrational. It can be very confusing when good news makes the market go down and bad news makes the market go up. This course gives you all of the levels, the numbers to understand, and what happens when they hold and what happens when they break so that you can finally understand a market that doesn't make any sense. This gives you a big leg up on the competition. It is 25 videos where I go over 3 parts. The introduction, where we go over your expectations, your mindset, the KISS method, and why it works. We go over the chart setup and tools, every tool you need to use with Elliott Wave Theory and how to use it so that you can make sure you are tracking your waves correctly. And then the Elliott Wave for Beginners area, where we go through each of the waves, what they look like, how to measure them, what their targets are, what they look like when they fail, what happens when they fail, the wave corrective depth theory, the theory of alternation, the pivot, everything you want to know about Elliott Wave so that you can understand the market. The cool thing, guys, is if you don't want to pay the $67, I totally get it. You can get this course for free by becoming a monthly member. In our first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of our real-time market updates, all of our buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video where I go over exactly where we are in the charts, as well as the Elliott Wave for Beginners online course. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing and day trade, which means that we trade quite often in my room. Now, if you are looking for futures trading, as well as individual stocks, income trading, and advanced training, you need to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as individual stocks, day trading, income trading, where PT averages 5 to 6 points per day, looking for about 100 points a month on the futures contracts. And he has his reduced risk binary method that absolutely crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you big multiples on your money, and it's how he structures his trades. It's so unique. It's something you really have to see to understand, and that's another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where he put down $4,000 into a small account, trading mini ES futures, averaging 3 to 4% gains per week, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we would love to have you in these rooms so we can all make money together. All right, the key takeaways for today. We are at that key zone of resistance. The bears need to step up here in the next 10 to 15 points and start to push down and break some support around 47.45. If they do that, we can see at least a reasonable pullback to 4,700. And if they break through there, much deeper from that. However, if they continue higher over 48.12, then we likely take a much more direct path to new all-time highs. Over on the NASDAQ, they've reached that 17,000 point of resistance we've talked about. If they're able to push through that and then 17,341, then we would be looking at a much more direct move higher. However, if they can hold this area, then we would look for at least a reasonable pullback into the 15,006, 15,400 area before continuing the move up. Guys, that is your market update for today. I will talk to you tomorrow.